Hi, I'm Rajiv, and today I'm going to talk to you about decluttering your kitchen. The other day, I had done the dishes and I was putting everything away, and as I was putting the utensils back into this crock, I realized it was really hard to fit things in there. And I thought, why is there no room in this crock? There has always been room in this crock. You know, this is what happens. Things have a way of seemingly multiplying on their own, like they're breeding in the crock. And we know that that's not true. So what happens? And I think that everybody can relate to this. Somehow, cupboards, drawers, closets end up filling with things where you go to put something away and there's no space. How did that happen? So whenever that happens, whenever this happens where I'm like, okay, it's time to do a decluttering, a purge. And I want to share this process with you because it is something I do regularly. And I think it's something that certain people find really difficult to do, how to get rid of things. So we're going to do this together, and I'm going to actually speak aloud and talk to you about what's going on in my head. So this crock is an example of this entire kitchen. If I was going through and decluttering the kitchen, I would not just do this crock. I would probably spend 2 to 3 days leisurely taking everything out of every cupboard, everything, taking it out, putting it on the floor, putting it on the tables in another room, and going through it all to get rid of things. Ruthlessly. I'm ruthless. I can get rid of things. And I wouldn't just do that with plates. I would do that with this cupboard actually desperately needs it. There's stuff back there and I don't know what's back there. I really don't. So you are going to get a major purge sometime soon. Like this. This doesn't look nice. So anyways, this is gonna happen. But let's use this crock as an example of how to do this. So what I do is I take everything out. Leave no stone unturned. And it's kind of fun because I don't really know what's in here. I don't know everything that's in here. I've forgotten. Okay. Now here's the thing. This is what I do. I go through everything. What is this chopstick doing in here? Did I know this random chopstick was in here? No. Bye. And every single thing that I'm going through, I'm asking myself multiple questions. Do I really want this is the first thing. And with something like chopsticks, the answer is no. Do I really want this? The answer is no. The second question that many people ask themselves, which is here is the trap. Oh, but will I be able to eventually use this? And then you say, oh yeah, I might need this, so I should set it aside. Wrong answer. That is what will set you up for failure. Oh, but will I maybe use this one day? Oh yeah, if someone comes over, maybe I'll need another set of chopsticks, or I guess for an art project I could use chopsticks, so I better hold on to it. Here's what happens. When that happens, you don't throw anything away. You just move stuff around. So now these chopsticks go into the art supply closet and clutter that closet. Just get rid of them. If I need a chopstick to stir something, like glue, epoxy, I'll figure it out. I'll find something else. This was cluttering this space. Don't move this junk from one place to another. throw it away. Okay? This is what I said about Ruthless. Now, something like a spoon, like this spoon. I know that in the process of going through these spoons, all of this stuff, I have other spoons. And I know that I have not picked this spoon up in a very long time. I just know because I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh yeah, this spoon. My instinct over the last 4 months, it's been a long time since I've cleaned that out, was never to pick up this spoon. So what I'm saying to myself is, even though I'm holding this now, I'm like, oh, this spoon is really nice, actually. I kind of like this. The fact that my instinct was never to pick up the spoon means that I didn't want to use this spoon. So this is going away. And I'm going to create a going away pile over here where all of this stuff is going to go to a charity shop. There's one around the corner where they take household things and then all of the money goes to charity, which is great. Honey wand, very beautiful. I have had this ever since I moved in here. I've had this for 10 years. I love this thing. Have I ever used it? No. Today, you're going. Buy honey wand. This spoon, okay. This spoon I bought at a Renaissance fair. It was handmade. It's made out of pear wood. Have I ever used it? No. But I really do love it. And I am going to, this is what I'm just telling you. I'm just really telling you what's going on in my head. I've not created a dialogue. This is really off the cuff. This was lost in this crock. This crock is too big for this spoon. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to find this in there. So this was actually living in the wrong place. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you were forgotten about and never used. It's my fault I put you in the wrong space. So this man also made this spoon. So these two, I'm going to just put aside and put somewhere else. Those aren't getting thrown away. This knife, I have been looking for you for like 3 weeks. This is what happens. This is like, I was like, where is that little paring knife? I'm gonna go in here with the other knives. Okay. I'm going to clean this crock out actually, because what I'm going to do is put back the things that I actually know I'm going to keep for sure. It's another part of this process. I don't have a lot of room in the kitchen, so there's not a lot of counter space to spread out, which means that while I'm doing this, I have to be strategic about where everything's going to go. Okay, the crock has been washed out. I'm just going to turn it over and allow it to drain while I continue my decluttering. So as I'm going through this pile, I'm going to actually pick up the things that I know I use regularly, that I know for sure I'm going to keep. So you can start at both ends of the spectrum. You can start at, or you can work from both ends of the spectrum. You can work from, I know for sure I'm throwing this away or giving this to the charity shop or donating it. And I know for sure I'm going to keep this. And the in-between stuff where you're like, I'm unsure, just leave it here or set it off to the side. Make it easy for yourself by the process of elimination. Eliminating the things that you know you're going to get rid of and eliminating actually the things you know you're going to keep. So these things I'm keeping, and this really does help with the process. I do use this all the time. So I'm picking up the things now that I know for sure I use regularly. Like I'm going for the things that really on a daily basis I'm pulling. I always use these. I use these spatulas like multiple times a day. Tongs I use. These metal flippers I use. My rolling pin for paratha and roti. I like to make paratha. Okay, there you go. There, that's a very good start. Now, I'm going to dry out my crock. You have to, it's very important that you dry out your crock with a towel that Deborah made, handmade, hand woven by Deborah, Upper Canada Weaving. Look at that beautiful linen towel, gorgeous. Oh, this is Deborah's label. This is really, these little tasks like this are just made more joyful with something like this. You think of your nice friend weaving in her little attic space in Toronto. Okay, that goes there, nice and clean, next to Sainte Therese. And then these go back in here. See, now there's room in there. This rasp I always use. Lemon zest, nutmeg, spurtle, made by a guy at Pioneer Village named David, who I had a big crush on, blonde. Will you make me a spurtle, David? Sure. Memories, fond memories. Knife steel, I'm always using that. This. Okay, there. So much more room in there. Now I'm going to go through these last things over here. These are going somewhere else. This is going somewhere else. This was made by this guy. And here's the thing. Okay. Now we encounter an example of what makes this difficult. So I'm really going to share what's happening in my head. I remember buying this from the guy that made this little spoon. This was not cheap. It's beautifully made. I love it. Have I ever used it? I thought I would. I thought I would use it for stirring and cooking, but I haven't used it. I don't instinctively go for this. I always go for this old spoon, which was bought for like €5 in Munich, or this coconut spoon, which was bought in Sri Lanka. This is what I stir with. But my mind is saying, but this is so much nicer. But this was handmade by that guy. You should use this. Don't throw that away. Keep it. Put it back in there. You should keep it. This is what happens. This is what I'm sure every one of you can relate to this. And this is what happens with me. No! Fight the urge. You have not used it. Get rid of it. And it hurts. But Marie Kondo would say, you hold this thing, you say thank you for what you have taught me, because this has taught me something. This has taught me to be much more discerning the next time I'm looking at something that someone has made by hand that I feel like buying. You are going to the charity store. So another aspect of this decluttering thing is when you find something that you kind of like and that you should get rid of, but there's this feeling of guilt inside, like, oh, I bought this and I never used it and it's so nice, but maybe my friend would like it. That's very tempting. It's very, very tempting to say, oh, who would like these spoons? I'm going to save it for them. Because what that does is it creates a kind of excuse. It gives you an out. Oh, I spent the money on it and I'm not giving it to a charity shop. I'm actually going to give it to a friend kind of as a gift. So there, I warranted this purchase. That's what's happening in your head very often when you're thinking of giving something to a friend. I'm going to admit I do it too. I just gave a bunch of ironstone dishes to my friend in Toronto, and I texted her and I asked her, do you want these dishes? But I always say, well, I don't do that very often. So when I do reach out to someone and say, do you want these? I say, and I have I have zero problems with getting rid of them. So only tell me you want them if you really want them and you can use them, because I'm fine getting rid of them. But really, you shouldn't do that, because the other aspect of that is, you know what ends up happening is you hold on to these things longer. They're lingering around. They're sitting in your space. When you set yourself up for the task of decluttering, you should really be rigid about giving yourself a time frame where it's going to start and it's going to be complete. And when every aspect of this is within your control, it can start and end because it's only up to you. But when it's left to, oh, let me see if Jill might want these spoons, or let me see if, Alex might use this spatula, then this stuff could be sitting around for months, because who knows when I'm going to see Alex. So they're kicking around in a bag in the closet. Don't do it. It's very tempting, but try to really resist that temptation and just give these to the charity shop. Get rid of them. Get them out of your space the very same day that you empty the crock. That immediacy of doing that and taking these are leaving this apartment today. Like on my way to the gym, I'm going to go to Housing Works and drop this off in a bag. That is what keeps my apartment clutter-free. I have these rules in place in my head, and I follow those rules. Okay, these coconut spoons, same. I say I'm going to use them, and I don't use them. So they're going. What the hell is this? Oh, this is my potato masher, actually. Because I actually got rid of my potato masher because I didn't like it. I just didn't spark joy. And this is actually an antique one. And I use it to mash potatoes, and it works really well. So that does have to go back in here. It looks nice in there as well. This pastry brush. See, I'm really doing this in real time. There's another one in there. It's all ratty. And I remember I got this from the church market in Munich. It says made in Germany. I want to say that, oh, yeah, I should use this. I have it. Why haven't I used it? Why is it still new? Why do I still reach for the ratty one? It's because I don't want to use this one. Subconsciously, that's what's happening. I've passed this perusing in there, but I always reach for the other one. So, ruthless, ruthless, ruthless. No, you're going. Bye. These random chopsticks, 3 of them. Why are there 3? Why? Oh, that's why there was that other random chopstick. Now I remember. Because there were 2 of these plastic ones, and I must have kept a bamboo one to be the pair for this. Bye. Apple core. I do use this when I make an apple tart like 2 times a year. I like this. It should not live in there. It should live in another drawer. Okay, so now I need to find a home for these things, but my crock has much more room than it did before. Look, these can move around in there. These things are going bye-bye. Some things are being tossed, and just a few things need to find a new home in here because they were not housed in the right place. Decluttering, reorganizing, learning how to get rid of things can be a very difficult thing, but you have to develop the skill, and it takes practice. It's like an exercise, and I wanted to talk through it because I wanted to show you where there's the very edge where you can bring yourself to throwing something away and very easily go, and maybe next time, maybe I'll throw it away next time. Don't do it. Get rid of it now. What happens when there's too much stuff is the nice things get polluted. The things you want to enjoy and savor and look at, they need space. They need space around them to be able to breathe. And when there's so much stuff everywhere, the wonderful things get lost. So decluttering is an essential part of my life and my home. And I hope that if you don't have this skill, I've shared with you some things that will help you develop it.